we're gonna give you some basic tips on how to draw architecture. And to do it, we'll use some Lego blocks.
Welcome back to Linescapes Basics of Drawing series. Drawing is a great tool to understand and observe architecture better. In this video, we're gonna give you basic advice on how to draw architecture, and today we're gonna do first steps toward mastering it.
If it's your first time here, be sure to check out our previous videos on basics of drawing, as they all build up to this one, and we'll put the links to them in the description of this video.
And if you don't want to miss any of our future videos, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. We are sure it has a nice sound to it. If you're interested in more of our sketches, you can find them on Instagram and Facebook profiles.
We'll put those links in the description below as well.
Now we're gonna jump right to it.
First, you need to determine the building you want to draw. That's probably obvious. We chose this neo-Gothic church around the corner where we live. So step 1. Careful observation is key here. Remember those Lego blocks we mentioned at the start? Well, what helps me a lot is imagining buildings as if they were built from Lego blocks. Almost every architecture, even more complex ones, can be imagined as a pile of boxes. Everything can be fit in a box, basically. So that's what you need to imagine before you start drawing. It will help you later on. Now let's turn to the paper. Start by drawing a horizon line. Always remember, everything above the horizon line is higher than us and everything below the horizon line is lower than us. In step 2, you need to get the proportions of the building right. For that, we'll use the technique called sighting. Hold your pen in your stretched out hand, mark one distinct distance of the building with your finger, and that's going to be your one basic unit. Next, use that distance to determine other relative sizes of the object you're drawing. If you want to learn more about sighting, be sure to check out our video, Drawing in Proportion. We put the link in the description below. We are now ready to transfer these proportions onto the paper. Start with the tallest and widest ones, so you make sure everything you want to draw will fit on the page. When doing this, remember we are drawing Lego blocks. What we end up with should be a composition of boxes. Step 3. No architecture just floats around in space. We need to give it some context or a frame. Look at the surroundings and make some rough outlines of the buildings or vegetation around it. This will ground it in a way. Step 4. Time to add some details. Start out by defining the more exact shapes inside those boxes. You can also leave the boxes visible. It will reveal a certain logic of the building, plus it looks kind of cool. And now a very important tip. I never try to fully detail out the whole architecture. Pick an area or a part of the building that's important to you and you want to show for some reason. In my case, this will be the front of the church. And detail out just that. This will draw attention to exactly what you want to show. Because if you detailed out the whole thing evenly, it tends to lose focus. And final step, step 5, shading. To make the building look more like a volume, you can add some shading in the end. We talk about shading in one of our previous videos, so be sure to check it out if you want to know more about it. We also put a link to that one in the description below.
There you go! First steps toward mastering drawing architecture. Before we give you a final tip on how to continue practicing, we would like to ask you something. The Basics of Drawing series is slowly coming to an end, and we were considering doing live Q&A to conclude it. Would you be interested in that? Let us know in the comments below.
Now, to continue practicing, go out and draw a piece of architecture on your own. A tip is to start with a freestanding prominent building, something like a town hall,
museum,
religious object, or anything similar. That's because these objects usually have a clear structure and are easy to grasp for beginners. While doing it, remember the 5 steps. First, observe it carefully and imagine it in boxes or in Lego. Second, determine the proportions. Third, add some surroundings. Fourth, add details, but only in a certain area of the building that you are interested in. And fifth, add some shading to make it more realistic.
as usual, you know what to do. Keep on drawing and see you next time.
Also, we'd like to thank Leo for giving up his Lego blocks.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Leo. I hope you didn't miss playing with him. We took good care of them. We fed this guy, you know.
Those two got massages.
Sorry, Leo, we lost the fourth one actually.
No, we didn't.